Hello everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Collectibles. Today is day 8 of our 10 days of PrimesMas Christmas special. And for today, there is a deluxe class Dreadwind for me to review for you. So Dreadwind has gotten a lot of publicity that I've seen on YouTube and various other forums for being one of the better Power of the Primes figures released so far. So I'm excited to get into this figure and see if it holds up to what I've read so far. Obviously, everyone's opinion is subjective. Mine is also probably going to be different. Having looked at the figure, a couple quick things to note. He has like the appearance a little bit of a Starscream with the color scheme and the fact that he's an F16/F18. Correct me if I'm wrong which one he is in the comments, because I'm having a hard time thinking about it and I'm not that familiar with like up-to-date planes. So couple other things that are nice about him is his prime armor isn't as ugly as the black that is on these guys. It's got a little bit of a different feel to it, which is nice. And his blaster is pretty cool, and it also turns into a turret underneath his wing, which is great. Looking at his box art, here it is. It's very nice. Loving that plane. Loving the fact that he's the second Decepticon, and we have 8 so far, so they're a little bit underrepresented. And then looking at it, it says, how will the doom-bringing Decepticon air defense specialist wield the power of the primes? And he's a 13-step transformation, which isn't the hardest that we've seen so far. And here's his card as well. Dreadwind. Got the yellow card for this one. And then looking at the back, it says, Nexus Dreadwind spreads sinister gloom to bots he combines with. So all in all, I'm really excited to take a look at this figure. It's got a little bit of a different transformation method than some of the other ones, which makes it a little bit more difficult if you don't have a ton of experience with like advanced level transformers. I think it's going to cause you a little bit more difficulty. By no means is it difficult. It's just got a little bit of a different vibe to it. Here is the figure itself. So I love this cowl and the yellow eyes. It looks pretty cool. Makes you think like Batman/Daredevil, but also kind of like a definitely villainish feel to him as well, because it just adds something. I don't see a lot of Transformers with that kind of setup, so it's nice to see. I love these shoulder, like, I don't know what you would call them, thrusters. They kind of look like gauntlets or whatever you want to call it. Just like spikes, you know, it looks cool. Adds to the figure, it's less rounded. And then here's his blaster, comes out. And he's got, you know, like bracers here as well. And then kind of like a knee pad, leg coverings, which is great. And here's where his prime armor would connect, right there. And it doesn't take away from the figure as much as the other ones do. So when you put it in, it's not as bad, right? So that's good. So going through the figure articulation-wise, there's obviously shoulders are a little bit different. They swivel all the way around, both sides. And then you've got movement in the elbows, hips, and the knees don't really move other than that. Well, I guess they do move then. That one's a little bit loose. So is this one. So that is basically it for the articulation. So the transformation method, it's got a couple different steps to it. I'm just going to move this over a smidge so I can do it under the light in front of the camera as well. So first things first you want to do with this guy is there's a bunch of little steps to it. 13 exact. What you're going to do is pop this out. It's the first step. So there's some pegs or tabs right here, and they go into these slots. Don't worry too much about that. Turn this around. Give them the exorcist treatment, and then pop this all the way down till it clips. So once you hear the clips, you're good. So the next step of the process is you've got to do something with these, with the arms. Pivot them back and then spin them forward, the thrusters. So they're kind of on like a swivel here. So pivot them all the way back and then push them forward. You're going to have that like that. You can leave his arms out to the side for now. You don't really have to do anything with him until we get the legs sorted out. So here's the legs, just like that. First step in the legs, push these out. okay? And then pop these down. So on the back of the legs, you can see there's little connector tabs right here, and they pair in with this. Now this is on a hinge and it can move all the way up. So move it up, if I can do that. Move this one up as well. It's going to give you an idea of what you're working with. So then what you've got to do is you've got to get this part up to here. So push these all the way back. All the way back. And it should connect like that. Okay, that's the first one. Second one, same thing. All the way back and pair it in. So once that's like that, you've just got to connect here. There's a bunch of little tabs and pegs, or tabs and holes. So there's one there, you can see it, and then here as well. So connect it, get it in, and then what you're going to do, that's kind of his underneath. Doesn't have like rolling for landing gears, but that's basically set now. Now what you're going to do is pop this forward, clip it in, and clip it in. They clip in right there on those grooves. And you would think that this is where I made the mistake the first time of thinking I was almost done. I'm not almost done. The wings come out like this. So you got to get those wings up to here. So push his arms all the way down like this. Now get them out of the way and push these up. And once you get them up, you can kind of lift them. There's a tab here and a slot right there. That's where it's got to go. And it should just sit in it real nice. So once that's in, you're basically 90% done. So the last step of the process is to pair this little groove right here in with that groove on the inside of the forearm. So pair it in and then pop these tail fins out. You've got that like that. So that is how he's supposed to look in plain mode, which is really nice. I really, really like how he looks, how his, I mean, he's not super big. He's got the kind of aerial bot feel to him, but the colors are still nice. I love these Decepticon logos, nice and big on there. Cockpit's got a nice teal blue on it. It's got the nose cone, everything. Here's where I start to have a little bit of a bummer about the figure. When you want to put the prime armor on him, you can put it like this on top, which is even still okay. And then you put his gun / turret underneath his wing. So you've got one. That's where my problem is. On a figure this good, in order to make it absolutely perfect, they should have included 2 turrets. Would have taken them an extra 10 cents of manufacturing time to make a second turret and put it in here somewhere so that he has it on both sides. So that you don't have to, if you wanted to make this guy look really, 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 really good, have a second turret on there. Imagine how good this figure would look if you had one here and one here. It's just like, you know, Dirge, Skywar, Thundercracker, all of them in the original G1 line, they had 2 bombs. They didn't have one bomb. They didn't have one thing just because it was easier. They had 2. So the only option I'm left with is to either buy one of these aftermarket parts and put it on there to make them look really good if I'm going to display them, or buy a second figure, open it up, take that out, and put it on there, and then have one figure with none, one figure with 2, which is super duper lame on a figure this nice. This is one of the better figures that I've seen, but that kind of detracts it for me. You know, it'd be like giving, I don't even know, it's hard to explain. You know, it might as well not even give him one rather than give him 1 as opposed to 2, if you get what I'm saying. You know, at least the Legends class figures don't have any weapons. Well, you gave him kind of like half a weapon. Yeah, sure, it works when it's in his hand in robot mode, but in plain mode, if I didn't know better and I wasn't doing this review and I just bought this figure second hand off somebody, I would expect that I would have to find one of these because it looks incomplete. So that's my biggest critique. Other than that, it's great. It's a great figure. No real areas where I'm concerned that it's going to break wear and tear wise. And all in all, I'm super excited about the figure. I just really wish they would have taken 10 more seconds to do that in the manufacturing process. And it's probably not 10 seconds. I'm definitely underselling it. It may have taken a little bit more time, but you know what? If you're going to have a really, really good figure and a new variation of one of your more obscure G1 figures, that's a differentiator for me if I was to go and buy it after having seen a review, because I would want the double guns. That would be big for me. So I hope that's not too much of a rant towards the end. That was just kind of how I felt about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed day 8. We are done the deluxe class of figures. Up for tomorrow is Grimlock. So I actually just landed, if you've been watching the videos, a Grimlock G1. So I'll have a nice comparison piece to go with them. And I'm excited to go through that and see if we can't start looking at how he's going to pair up with some of these other figures to create Volcanicus. So, and then there's only one more left before Christmas, so aka PrimesMas. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Like I said, watch the other videos, catch up on my other great content, and subscribe if you want to stay up to date. Thanks so much. Bye.